Hi guys, there are two teachers according to my phone. I want to welcome you to my Facebook Live. Let's just wait for a little bit more, okay? And then I'll start with my topic today, which is about the struggles, the challenges that you should expect that you will experience, and how or what can you do in order to overcome them, okay? Thank you very much for joining me today. So let's wait for I'll probably start at 8:10. So that's 3:10. There's 4 people already. Let me just make some notes. Okay. Hi everybody. Thank you again and welcome. Okay, we'll start in 2 minutes. Welcome everybody. All right. Hi everybody. Welcome to my Facebook Live today. I'm glad that you could come. All right. So, yeah. Good morning, Rachel. Okay, by the way, here in Russia, it's 3 p.m. So good afternoon to me and good evening to you if you're in the Philippines. Hi, Mom Flor. Hi, Mom Rachel. Good evening to the teachers who are from the Philippines. So I'm going to do this again in English because I have friends who are not from the Philippines. And I know they also want to know these things. Hi, Hanson. Hello. I don't know what time it is in Cameroon. Welcome and thank you for joining. So as I mentioned on my invitation video, I was really inspired today. This morning, I went to school. So for those who don't know yet, my apartment is inside the campus where I'm teaching. So next week is going to be my formal observation. And so this week, I prepared my lesson plan. I already have the PowerPoint presentation and the worksheets for next week. And so I went to school today, this morning, to print the worksheets and also test the things that I'll be using next week because my schedule is kind of tight, okay? So I'm sorry. Oh, okay, it's 1:10 p.m. Okay, so Hanson, I'm gonna talk about something first, and after this, everybody, you may ask your questions. Okay, I'll be opening the floor for the question and answer. So, my school is just over there. Okay, that's the building. And and so it's really not bothersome to go to school. I'm glad it's open. I have an ID to open the doors there. And so I was able to do the preparations that I needed for next week. And while I was working in the school this morning, printing my stuff, I remembered how, this summer in 2024, when I was doing the paperwork for my work here in Russia, I was under so much stress. And because if you don't know yet, if you're new to this page, I posted about my struggle because I was supposed to go back to the United States this year. Under the same sponsorship, same visa sponsor, but then I encountered a problem with the document of my son, who is an American. And I will be able to obtain it, but I will not have enough time. And so therefore, my application for US teaching under J1 visa was put on hold. And obviously, I have to make a quick decision what to do next, because I'm really resolved that this year I cannot stay in the Philippines to teach for another year because the salary is really low. Okay. And my savings, they're becoming depleted. So I have to come hell or high water. That was my mentality. Whatever happens, I have to go and teach overseas. I cannot continue to teach in the Philippines with that kind of salary. Okay. And so, yeah, I decided to change my course of application. And that's when I, decided to get a subscription to Scroll. I mentioned about this many times. So I got a subscription to Scroll. My friend paid for me. That's $50. So I just paid my friend. And so I got a teaching job here. I did not apply in this school, but the school found my profile in that recruitment platform. And they invited me for an interview. It was a panel interview. I passed. And so I'm here now, right? But just like during the time when I was applying to teach in the United States, I experienced challenges and struggles. And those are the things that I want to go over today. And hopefully, based on my experience, that you will get some insight so that you would know how to prepare, so that whatever stress you might be having, because you will have stress, I'm telling you, that it will be at least, manageable. And by preparation, by having the right knowledge, the right information, it will not be as terrible. Okay, because during my time when I was applying to teach in the United States, there were no YouTube channel talking about how to do it. There were no Facebook pages having this content. And so that's one of the reasons why I decided to do a content on this. In 2022, I started this page as well as the channel. So I started both at the same time. It's now 2024 and I'm grateful because as of this week, I now have 15 followers on Facebook and 9,000 something subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I know through this page and my YouTube channel, a lot of teachers have already, gone through the process and have successfully made their way to the United States. Okay. This year, I am sharing you information on international teaching opportunities because this year I'm not teaching in the US, but I am teaching in Russia. And the process is the same for whatever country you would like to also teach. So I want to start with the challenge concerning finances, right? Okay. I want to know, do you have financial challenges? Like you're thinking maybe I won't be able to apply because I know it's going to take a lot of money. Can you type it in on the chat box? I want to see who among you here are kind of having a second thought or who is doubting themselves because they're thinking, I think I won't be able to do the application this year because I don't have money. I know it's gonna take some, I don't have funds, so I can do the application process. Who among you here are having that kind of challenge, financial challenge? Do you think you are financially ready to do your application? Do you think that because you feel like you're not financially ready that you cannot do the application this year for the next school year's hiring season? Do you feel like you have that financial challenge? Okay, thank you, Hanson. How about the rest of you guys? Because, one of the reasons why I decided to talk about this is because one of the teachers I am coaching, she's enrolled in my coaching, expressed this challenge. She said, I'm having a second thought whether I would pursue my application because I am currently experiencing financial challenges. So, and, but she said, there's actually two of them. The other one said, and both of them, said, but I really, really want to work in the U.S. next school year. But at the same time, they are having doubts whether to pursue because they're already enrolled in my coaching, right? They already have the book. They're attending my coaching. I've been practicing them for their interviews, but they still have this doubt. It is because of financial status that they have right now. Okay, so thank you guys for your responses. This is the thing. Sometimes we are stressing ourselves on things that, are not necessary. For instance, you're probably thinking that you don't have enough funds to go about the application process because you're thinking maybe I will be spending $1 million. Maybe I need $500,000 pesos. But you don't need that much. You don't need that much. So if you're stressing because you don't have 1 million right now, or that you don't have 300,000 pesos right now, then you're worrying for nothing because you don't need that much money. Okay? So my point is, if you have the right information when it comes to the documents that you need, and in this case, the expenses that will be required to complete the application process, then you don't have to worry so much about it because there are ways in order for you to do the application process in a cheaper way, right? In a cheaper way. I'm going to give you an example. So for my application in Russia, right? I already made a video about it. I spent less than 30,000 pesos. I know, even if you're a teacher from the Philippine government school, DepEd, if you're a teacher one, I know you're earning 29,000 pesos, right? Monthly, and you have some allowances. So, depending on where you want to work, which kind of visa you want to pursue, you actually have enough money for it. So why stress about funding, right? So if you think that, funding is a challenge, you have to ask yourself first, do you know exactly how much you're going to spend? Like an actual knowledge on how much you're going to spend. Like information that's firsthand, not information that you're hearing from people that you're, people who may not have actually an experience about the process is saying. Okay? So, if you don't have funds, then I am discouraging you to apply for H-1B visa because H-1B visa will require more funding compared to J-1 visa application if you're targeting the United States. Okay? I'm sorry, Hanson. I think right now $1 is to 58 pesos, Philippine pesos. Okay? So, yeah, that's the conversion. So, did you get my point? You could be stressing on something that is not necessary. How do you know that you will actually be spending 1 million? Is it really 1 million? Is it 500,000 pesos? Is it 300,000 pesos? Is it 200,000 pesos? Right? So, if you know, you have to know exactly how much are you gonna spend. Okay? You have to know how much you will be spending from an actual source, firsthand. If you're pursuing J1 visa, if you're pursuing H1B, if you're pursuing a work visa in international school, if your budget is tight, then go for the visa that will require the least amount of expense. Okay? Again, so if you're tight on money, don't go after H1B because you're gonna need more money for it, whether you do it direct hiring or having placement agency. Okay? So now, then your option is now J1 or international teaching. Okay? So for J1, you want to go through sponsors, the J1 visa sponsors who do not charge program fees. That's one way of spending less. Correct? You don't go through placement agencies because I've mentioned this many times. In order to get a teaching job in the United States, you only need an employer and a visa sponsor. You don't need a placement agency. It's not a requirement for J1 visa. Okay? For H1B, if you're coming from the Philippines, you may or may not need a placement agency. That's a different topic altogether. Right? So, if you're tight on money, again, I would suggest go for J1 visa or international school teaching. Drop the H1B because that's going to need more money. Next, you have to know exactly how much you will be spending, right? So a lot of you guys are worrying about the show money, okay, the bank statement. At this stage in the application process, you don't have to worry about the show money. And this show money, which is 2,000 US dollars for the J1, okay? If your family members coming with you, then you will need more of this show money, okay? So the show money will not be required until you get a job offer. So for now, you can, set it aside. If the J1 visa sponsor requires for a statement, a bank statement, go ahead and submit it. Okay? The bank statement can be coming from your payroll, your personal bank account. As long as that bank statement is your own, meaning it is under your name, it is active, it doesn't matter if it has no balance in it, go ahead and turn it in. Don't worry about the show money at this point. Okay? So what I'm saying is some of you are worrying for things that are not necessary at this point. Okay? And you're worrying about things that you actually don't need to spend on. Right? So if you go after international teaching jobs in Asia, in Europe, okay, you will spend less. So if I'm going to rank, you will spend the most in H1B, followed in by J1 visa, and least will be in international teaching, right? So on my YouTube channel, I already made a video of the cost of J1 visa application. Okay, so you will know the details. How much exactly am I gonna need? And that money that you'll be needing for J1 or, international teaching application, that's not money that you need one time. Okay, you don't have to have that much money right now because some of those expenses, you spend those in staggered manner. Like for instance, you're gonna spend for your passport. That's an expense for that time, right? So you're gonna spend next for whatever documents you need. So therefore, you have like 10 months, the most, in order to prepare to build your application fund. Again, H1B should be out of the option already because that's more expensive. You'll spend more for H1B. You now have J1 and international teaching opportunity, okay? If you want to know the exact cost, I already made a video about it on my YouTube channel. So later, if you have time, you can watch it so that you can plan your finances, okay? So that's number one, finances. The next challenge will be about time, okay? Okay, time. Some of you guys, do you have any problem with time? Like, I feel like I don't have enough time to do the process. I'm not ready. Okay, maybe this year is not the time for me. Do you have any, like, is there anyone here who are watching right now who has an issue with time? Because we're done with the financial challenge. Anyone? Who among you here is thinking, well, I think I don't have time for the application process, so maybe I should, just wait it out again for the next school year. So if you're applying now, if you're applying at this point, that is for the school year 2025-2026. Thank you, Jimmy. Okay, Jimmy, can you, if you don't mind, what specific problem about time you're worried about? Say, why do you think you have a timeline problem? Okay. Guys, if you have questions, I'm gonna answer your questions later. Okay, for now, I just want to cover my topic for today. So, anyway, thank you, Jimmy. As for the timeline, if you're targeting to go work in the US or any school overseas, okay, you have from now until around December. That's your target for you to turn in your application, okay? Again, if you're targeting to teach in the US or any other countries worldwide, you should be taking care of your documents now. And your goal is to submit your application by December, okay? Why is it early? Because you're going to teach overseas, it means that there's going to be some visa application process involved. And the process and the requirements will really differ depending on which country you're coming from. That is why they have to start the process early on so that you'll be there in that school in time for the school year 2025-2026. Okay? So, Mom Ethel, I'll answer your question later. So, for the timeline, if you know the exact timeline, then you don't have to worry about, those things. If you start your processing now, processing meaning your documents, because you have to take care of your passport, and other things, right, that are needed. So, if you start now, you actually have a lot of time in your hand, ample time. So you will not be cramped. You will not be rushing. Okay? So you should start now, teachers. Take care of your documents. If you're targeting the United States, please make sure to also include your driver's license application. Because in other countries, in international schools worldwide, a driver's license is not required. But if you're targeting the United States, you have to take care of your driver's license now. Because the timeline for obtaining a driver's license could be different depending on your country's requirements, right? But I know that that's one of the things that you have to take care of. And then there's this FCE, Foreign Credential Evaluation, that can also take, at least I think 2 weeks. So you have to know the timeline, and if you know the timeline, you can plan your activities well. For instance, what are the things that I can do now, okay, at the same time? Because that's one of the things that stressed me out during the time when I was processing things to go to Russia. I realized I should have done this a while back. I should not have waited for this in order to start with this step. Because there are some steps that you can do simultaneously. But you would not know that if you don't know the timeline, right? So in my book, I have there a timeline from what you should be doing in September, October, November, December, blah, 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 until the next year. I even shared to those teachers who are attending my coaching a roadmap, right? So they know by just looking at the roadmap, where do they start? What will happen in step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then fly to the United States. So I gave that information to those attending my coaching, right? So that is why the fastest way is if you can find someone who can teach you personally how to do the things, right? So yeah, which is time, let me just promote my book. So the book is all about the application process. If you buy my book, it's only available in the Philippines. I'm sorry, because of time zone and shipping problem or issues. It's only available for Philippines. The book is 3,000 pesos. You have every information that you need, the cost, the timeline, tips about interviews, blah, blah, blah. And the most important thing is that if you buy the book, it's free shipping, by the way, via LBC. You will be joining my coaching. So you will be guided by me personally for the whole year until you get to the United States, okay? So, well, that's my book. Okay, next challenge is imposter syndrome. Do you have any idea what imposter syndrome is? So Jimmy, the coaching and the book is a package deal. Book and coaching is 3,000 pesos. Okay? So the order details on my Facebook page. And you can pay via GCash, but I need your information, so you have to order through the link that I have on my Facebook page. All right? So that's it. That's my book. You can join anytime. The coaching has already started, but you can join anytime because it's a whole year anyway, and you still can catch up. Anyway, so the next one is, so the number one financial problem or challenge next is timeline. The third one is imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. Do you guys know imposter syndrome? Okay. Some of you might be, thinking, am I capable? Can I teach in the US? Can I teach in Russia? Can I teach in China? Do I have the ability to teach students that are not in my country? So it's a different language, for instance, especially if you're going to teach in the United States, right? You're teaching the Americans. And so therefore the language is going to be English. There's no other way, right? You might be thinking, oh, am I even capable to be a teacher to the Americans? So if I'll be teaching math, is math there more difficult than the math in my country? Will they expect more from their teachers than compared to the expectations from my country? Okay, first of all, the lessons you're covering, say math, science, is standard, right? It doesn't matter where you're teaching it. Biology in the Philippines, biology in Cameroon, biology in India, it's the same biology in the United States, in Europe, and other parts of Asia, right? So, honestly, when it comes to content, that should be the least of your worry, okay? Because you've been teaching for a while and you have been trained in the university to teach that subject matter, right? So maybe you're thinking about just the language. But this is something I want to tell you. Don't worry about the language, especially the accent. So if you're coming from the Philippines, because of our, culture, in the Philippines, we nitpick on accent, on grammar. You don't have to worry about that when you teach in the United States, because students there are used to hearing different accents because they're used to having international teachers, and among themselves, they also have different accents. So accent should be the least of your worries. Okay? So don't worry about that. But it's obviously important that you are proficient in the language. You should be able to express yourself in English. You should be able to write in English because you'll be writing your lesson plans, your presentations, your assessments in English, right? So, but IELTS, TOEFL, TESOL, they're not required. Even here in Russia, I was not required to learn Russian. I wasn't required to turn in any TESOL, TOEFL, or IELTS certification. So you don't worry about the language, okay? But I would say that there are some countries, that there are some schools that have preferences when it comes to nationality because they want native speakers of English, especially if you'll be teaching English, right? So it's understandable why they would have that preference, but not all schools have that kind of preference. Like here, like I said, they're accepting teachers from any parts of the world as long as you are qualified. So they don't care if you're coming from the Philippines or Singapore or Malaysia, whatever. Okay, or from a country in Africa. I have co-teachers here who are from South Africa, right? Yep. So when it comes to your ability, don't worry about it, guys. You're gonna teach students high school. I don't think high school students are more, are smarter than you or who knows the content more than you do, right? So you can definitely do the work, okay? Before I forget this entirely, because I forgot to mention, on the finances, let me go back to the finances. Okay, like a lot of you said, okay, I don't have enough money. So if you don't change where you work in the next, school years, right? You're still teaching in that school. And obviously one of the reasons why you want to work overseas is because of salary reason, right? So the reason why you have financial problems is because your current salary is not enough. Your current salary is not enough for you to have savings. It's not enough for you to enjoy your life. Okay? It's not just about teachers. It's not just about surviving each month. You should have higher goals for yourself and your family. It's also about, enjoying life, not just surviving it. So if you work abroad, you will do the same things, but you will be paid more for the same amount of work you're doing. Actually, for the most part, you will do lesser work, but you will be paid more, right? If you don't change where you're working next school year, month after month, you will still be receiving the same amount of salary. How is that going to change your financial situation, right? The reason why you have financial problems right now is because your current job isn't paying you enough. Okay? So, therefore, in order to solve your financial problem, you have to leave that job and go somewhere. Unless you can probably get a side job, like a sideline. But that's two jobs. Life should not be just about working. So, are you being materialistic because you want to go abroad and earn more? No, you're just being realistic. Okay? And one thing more. If you have higher earning power, right? You know what they say about how money is just gonna magnify or amplify the kind of person you are. So if you're a generous person and then you earn more, you'll be even more generous, right? So do you want to help your family more? Then you want to earn more. Okay? Do you have goals for your children? I want them to study in good school, but my current salary cannot really afford that. Then leave that job. We already know that if something happens to us, our school can find a replacement anytime. So don't worry about your school, don't worry about your students, don't worry about your country, because there will always be a teacher to take your place, right? So now, but no one else can take your place in your family. So give yourself more opportunity to grow, more opportunity to earn more, so that you can provide more, so you can enjoy higher quality of life. It is not bad to go after the comforts, okay? What is bad is going after the comforts without, doing the job that's needed for it. Like you're scamming people or you're doing corrupt things, right? But if you are teaching, but you decided to teach abroad, you're still serving your purpose as a teacher. The education, I think, how we educate kids, that's our gift to the world. Us being teachers, we're giving gift to the world in terms of educating students, inspiring them, influencing them into becoming better people, right? So it doesn't matter where you teach, because a student is a student. You can inspire American students, you can inspire Russian students, you can inspire Chinese students, right? So you have to do something. You have all the right to pursue your own goals, your own dreams, to make them happen, right? Don't worry about what your bosses are gonna say, your principal. They will find a replacement. They will find a replacement. Okay, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about people saying, okay, it's too materialistic. No, that's not it. Because the current salary in the Philippines is not gonna cut it. I'm sure you have been seeing like a video now. In order to live happily in the Philippines, comfortably, what did the video say? That you should be earning 120,000 pesos a month for a family of 4. Is that how much you're earning each month right now? No. Okay? And whether you're gonna teach in the US or international school worldwide, you can take your family. Working overseas doesn't have to break a family, because you can take them with you. Okay? Like I said, during the time when I was applying, I told them that if I can't bring my family with me, then I'm not gonna go. Because family is more important, right? Now, my family's not here yet with me because they're still taking care of the documents, but they will be with me, hopefully by December, okay? So, guys, I don't know what else to say, okay? If you have financial problem, it is because your current job doesn't pay you enough. So it's time to move. It's time to move. Okay? All right. Next. Some of you are challenged when it comes to letting your school know that you are applying. Raise your hand. You're scared. Oh, my principal will know. Oh, my school will know. Are you worried about that? That your school will know that you will be applying next school year? I understand that, because the culture in the Philippines is this, right? That when you have plans of moving, but we know some co-workers who are saying, I'm going to resign next year, I'm going to resign next year, but he's still there. And he or she's been saying that for the last 10 years, right? I can't take it anymore. I'm going to leave next year, but lo and behold, next year you will still see them, right? So, but what most people do in the Philippines is to keep it to themselves. So they actually have a plan of leaving. So they're not saying, to people. I understand why. But just so you know, if you start your application to the US or to any country overseas, teachers, your school will know. They're gonna know. They will know. Why? Because part of the requirements is to get a character, or professional reference. And you will need 3, at least 3. 2 supervisory and 1 colleague. If you can give more, then that's better. And so therefore, you cannot keep this a secret. But you can tell your principal, your assistant principal, or your supervisor, whoever. You can tell them, can we keep it a secret for now? Because I don't want people to know that I am actually planning to teach overseas. Can we keep it to ourselves first for now? Right? I'm sure you can tell them that. If the news come out, everybody learned, oh, Sharon is leaving next year. Did you learn? Okay, that's their problem. You can't stop it from happening. Okay? It's too bad that your principal, your AP, your supervisor cannot, keep that to themselves, even if you have requested for them to not say anything about it, right? So, whatever, because what's important now is what you're going to be doing for the next few months, right? Your preparation. So if they learned about it, it's okay. I can't stop it now. But it should not be, they should not consider that as their business. That is why it's also important, guys, for you to maintain a good working relationship with your supervisors, because you will need them. There is no work around it, okay? Especially if you did not have any other school, right? Besides the current school that you have, where will you get your supervisory and professional references? Nowhere else. So you really don't have a choice. But I want you to know, if you start your application this year, the school will know. Okay? But please remember, guys, that it should not matter if they know, they learned about it or not. Well, everybody has dreams. Everybody has, things they want to achieve in life. And one of the ways to achieve them is, working abroad or getting 2 jobs. But who wants 2 jobs? Our life should not revolve around working, okay? If there's one job that can give you what you need and more, then go for that. And do you know, much of the things that I have learned, I learned because I went out of my comfort zone. I went out of my country. Professionally, I would say I have grown so much, okay? And I also learned that there are things in the workplace, especially in school, that should not be stressing me. Okay? Because after being exposed to, different systems of education in the US now here, I realized, okay, there are things that are not really important. I know now myself better as a teacher. Okay? I know I have gained more confidence. Like, I told you earlier, I'll be prepared. I'm preparing for my, formal observation next week. I'll be having my formal observation next week. And because it's a formal observation, the process is the same. In the US also, if you're having your formal observation, you will choose, where you will be observed. Okay? For this school, the principal asked me to choose 3. So 3, right? Is the 3 schedule. So I don't know where he would come in, but he asked for 3 classes. Okay? So, but am I nervous? Not really. Okay? You should be nervous if you did not prepare. But if you prepared for it, why should you be nervous? You should be nervous if doing your best is not the usual thing for you. You will be nervous. You should be nervous if being organized, being prepared is not your everyday thing, right? That you're only prepared and that you're doing your best only when there's an observation, right? That's why you're nervous, because you're not used to giving your 100% every day. That you only do your best when someone is looking. But if you're always doing your best, however you define what best is for you, then the formal observation day or the pop-up visit should just be like any other day. Okay, I'm not being mayabang or overconfident. No, I've been teaching for 23 years, right? In the Philippines, in the US, here, I've taught in high school, I've taught in, college level. I've been an admin before too, where I was the one observing classes, I was the one promoting teachers for regularization, whatever. Also the one who needs to, if somebody needs to go. I've been in that position too. And because of those experiences that I have, I learned what's important, and I also understand what matters as a teacher. Okay? So I know I'll just do whatever, I'll do my usual. And, he's welcome to go to my class every time. Right? So I covered finances, I covered timeline, I covered your capability. We call that the imposter syndrome. I covered about the challenge of, you're afraid that your school would know, because that's really not something that you can skip. The school would really know that you're applying. Next, I have a teacher who also feels like that her family doesn't support the idea of working abroad. Do you guys have the same problem? That your parents, that your family don't like you to go? Like probably some of you mentioned, okay, I'm planning next year, maybe I should go overseas and teach overseas. And then your family goes, you don't have to, you can stay here. You're working fine here. So you don't get the support that you're expecting from your family. Anyone who has a problem like that? No? Okay. Number one, if those who are not supporting you are your parents, okay, first of all, you're an adult. Okay, you're an adult, you're a professional, you don't have to ask for their permission. Right? And also, you just have to explain to them. Okay? If it's your husband who's not going to support you, that's a bit more challenging, because, the ideal thing is your husband's going to go with you, because you need that kind of support when you're working overseas. It's going to help you a lot. Okay? There's probably, I don't know, there are some valid reasons why husband would not be, happy with your decision of teaching abroad. Okay, number one, you can explain to your husband that he can go with you, right? That he can work in the US. Okay? He can work there. So whatever kind of work, it's easy to find job in the United States on J2. They don't have to have bachelor's degree even. Okay? They don't even need their diplomas and transcript. They just need a driver's license. Okay? You explain to your husband that it's important that he is with you, that the kids are with you, because it's going to be a source of support for you. Okay? And explain to them, I want you to experience with me whatever kind of life I will have there. Okay? Because, your husband can grow too. Right? And you can talk with your husband about your goals, your family goal. Hey, so if you want to invest on something, my current job, your current job, they're not enough. And our kids are getting older. We are getting older. And I know that if we go to like the US, we will be better equipped financially for, retirement, to support your children, okay, to save, to buy properties. You can explain it to your husband like that. Okay? So, but I know also that there are husbands who are, strong in their conviction, I'm not gonna go. I'll stay here. So now it's up to you if you're okay with working overseas without your husband. But you can also take your kids if they are willing to go. Okay? But If your children are very young and your husband doesn't want to go, it will be challenging for you. I also want to put that out there, okay? If they're very young, what do I mean very young? If they're not school aged. If they're school age, I think it's fine. It's okay. Right? That your kid go with you to the US. The kids there study for free. You don't have to worry about public school. Okay? And because they're school age, they will be very busy the whole day too. You don't have to worry about them. They'll be in school. Okay? And during the weekend, you're together. Okay? That is also why, why is it easy for me to go here to Russia by myself or to work in the US? Because I went there by myself as well in the beginning. My husband just followed me. I am grateful that my husband is very supportive and that my in-laws are also supportive. My parents, my family, they're very supportive. So that problem, I don't have that. I'm sorry for those who are having a challenge when it comes to that. So, and why am I not homesick? Why am I not homesick? Number one, I started in college by myself, staying in a dorm. So I'm used to being by myself, independent. When I started working, I'm also independent. I was staying in a boarding house. So I'm kind of trained to be independent. And also, I don't worry about my son. I don't worry about my husband because my husband is someone I can rely on, right? He's not a philandering type. Okay, because that's gonna be stressful, right? If you know your husband is a philandering type, it's difficult to leave them, to leave him on his own because you know what's gonna happen, right? So I'm grateful that my husband gives me all the support that I need, right? Emotional support, and I know he's a responsible father to my son. And they're staying with his parents, with his family. And they are very loving. So I don't worry about them. I don't worry about my son. That's why I'm okay here. I can work. Even if they're not here. Of course, I miss them, but I'm not worried about them. So that's something. So those are the things, guys. I will now entertain questions. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm gonna go over the questions now, guys. Okay. Hansen, I am very interested in H-1B program. Hansen, I already have a link on my Facebook page about H-1B sponsoring schools in the United States. It's actually on my Facebook wall. I just reshared it recently. So go ahead to that. But guys, if you apply directly to schools, you will be encountering issues, okay? I already made a video about those problems that you will encounter when you apply directly to school and how to work around them, right? How to solve them, kind of. But if you apply directly to schools that are sponsoring H-1B visa, again, where can you find the list and the link to the school districts that are hiring foreign teachers and are sponsoring H-1B visas? Is on my Facebook page. Teachers, please be patient and explore. I cannot spoon feed everybody with the information, okay? But I have those information on my Facebook page already. I also have a YouTube channel where I have 200 plus videos about these things. So you can just explore it, okay? Next. The best way and the easiest way, if you're from the Philippines, is to join my coaching. Buy my book, okay? I have 2 books. I have 2 designs. It's for feminine, okay? All the information you need is here as well. And if you buy the book, it goes with the coaching for 1 year, okay? I do my coaching. It's ongoing. You can join anytime using Google Meet. And if you join my coaching, you are also going to join my Google Classroom, and that's where you'll find all the resources you need. And some of these resources I don't even share on my Facebook page and on my channel. Kind of like exclusive access because you are in my coaching program, okay? And I also have like a group chat that I created for those who are in my coaching. Okay, so that's the answer to you, Hansen. So go to the link and watch the video. Okay, Francis, what's the difference between J1 and H1B visas? Okay, real quick. J1 cannot be converted to green card. H1B can be converted to green card. J1 visa doesn't need a state teaching license before going to the United States. H1B visa require a state teaching license before going to the United States. J1 visa doesn't need a medical exam before going to the US. H1B requires medical exam before going to the US. J1 will not require IELTS, TOEFL, TESOL, those English proficiency exam. H1B might need it, depending on the school district, okay? Next, J1 visa is for 5 years maximum. H1B is for 6 years maximum. For J1 visa, your spouse can work. For H1B visa, your spouse cannot work. So you'll be working on your own. Okay, those are the basic difference between the two. Hopefully, Francis, you're still here to hear that. Okay, so next, I answered that question already. Okay, what are the requirements to teach in Russia? I got this teaching job by subscribing to Scroll. Okay, I already posted about this. Okay, I have a YouTube video, and I also on my Facebook, if reels are shorter, right? On my Facebook, you look for the videos, click the videos, and you will see all the videos I have on my Facebook page. Those are short videos, reels, and explain there how to get a teaching job in international schools, because the process is the same, no matter which country you're going to. Either that's Russia, Singapore, China, UAE, Australia, whatever. They're the same. Okay, Europe, Americas, Asia. Okay, that's... Okay, also, I created a video on YouTube how to build your application fund. Okay, if you haven't seen it yet, please watch it later when you have the time. Go to my YouTube channel and look for that video, because I already have 200 plus videos on my YouTube channel. You just have to be patient and scroll. Okay, but I already made a video on how to build your application fund. Okay, that's answered. What else? Okay, Lasser, can I still apply for a teaching position abroad if I'm already a school head or principal here in the Philippines? Of course, yeah. I have friends who were a high school principal in the Philippines, and they went to the US to teach middle school. One was working as a middle school teacher, math. The other one's a science teacher. So yeah, you can, even if you're high school principal in the Philippines. Okay, my concern is I am not currently teaching now, but had 6 years of teaching. Okay, yeah, that's a problem, Rozan, because it's required that you should be currently teaching at the time of your application. Okay, guys, it's really dark outside now, so let me just move and turn on the lights. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Because it's now autumn, the night time is longer. All right, so I'm back. Okay, you have to be, you don't have to be teaching in the public school in order to apply as a teacher, okay? I, for one, have never worked with DepEd. Never. But I was able to work in this because that's not a requirement. Okay, but you do have to be currently teaching in order to apply as a teacher in the United States. Okay, and most international schools would also need, most of them would want you to be currently teaching. I've gotten an offer from Global Solutions of which I'm to spend That's a lot of money. Francis, again, do the do-it-yourself method, okay? So on my Facebook page, I already have a list of all the J1 visa sponsors and the link to their website. Okay, where can you find it? It's on my Facebook page. Again, be patient, explore my page. All the information that you need, I already have that there. Okay, so if you find that, there are I listed 9 visa sponsors without any program fees and 15 visa sponsors that has program fees. Okay, so obviously apply first on the 9 without program fees. Click on their website. When you're on their website, you will actually know what to do next and what to upload. Okay, so that's how. Next, where am I at? Don't pay 8,000 pesos, Francis. Do it yourself. You can do it by yourself. That's what I have been doing. And teachers, you don't have to pay placement agencies, guys. Mar Flores, my colleague spent almost 100,000 lang daw on her entire direct application until naka-apply for a J1 visa. So yeah, if you do direct hiring, if you don't hire the services of placement agency, you will not spend a lot of money. You will still spend some, obviously, because there are things that you have to pay on your own, obviously. Ethel, but the H1B, they stress on this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Ethel. Okay? In my previous live, I talked about how to get a teaching job in the United States. There are 2 ways. You can apply directly to visa sponsors, or you can apply directly to the school district. Okay? So, if H1B is the visa sponsor I already mentioned earlier when I was answering someone's question, H1B requires a state teaching license before you will be entertained. That is why I'm saying H1B will require more funds, because to get the teaching license is not free. Okay? So, there. Hello po ma'am, pag nakatapos ang 2 years sa homeroom sa Pinas, kapag babalik sa US, madadala ko ba ang US citizen na anak ko sa Of course, Wink. Wink, obviously yes, because that son is an American. He will not even apply for a visa like you. He can go back to the US anytime. It's just that because he's still a baby or a kid, he can't go on his own and live there by himself, right? Wink, my son is also American, okay? My son was born in Florida. He's American. I did not apply for dual citizenship. Okay, he's American. Of course, he can go back to the US anytime. Of course, you can take him to the US on J1 or H1B. Doesn't matter what kind of visa. Your son can go back there. Okay? Alright, so what else? Okay, FCE, I don't know. Jimmy, if you have internet, you can read, right? You understand English. If you go to the website of the FCE service provider, you will know what to do. And Jimmy, there are also lots of people who already made YouTube video on how to do the FCE. You just have to be diligent and search for those videos, and you can also simply Google them. So there are 2 FCE service providers that are used. FCE from WES and also Spantron. You can choose between the 2. Ethel, okay, hang on. Okay, Taki, will they accept my FCE if it's more than 5 years? No. Taki, 5 years is the expiration, that is the validity of the FCE. You have to do it again. Okay? Unless, for instance, because I know, like, if you're going back to the US, you already, did your J1 previously. If you're going back to the US with the same visa sponsor, they may not require you to get another FCE. If you're going back to the same visa sponsor, right? But FCE has a validity period for a reason. So if it's beyond 5 years, then you have to get another one. Okay, Hanid Sayer or Reyes, diba? Or Dina Reyes. Okay, ma'am, yung driver's license ko is non-pro. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a professional driver's license. So, non-pro is okay, as long as it's in your name. Jimmy, how much for coaching? So again, if you buy my book, that's 3,000 pesos. It includes the coaching. So therefore, book and coaching is 3,000 pesos. Ma'am, yung driver, much for coaching. Okay. Okay, is it needed to be fluent in English? What kind of fluency? You have to be proficient in English, okay? Although they don't need TOEFL, IELTS, and TESOL for it. So how will they know that you're proficient in English? During the interview. You'll have at least 3 interviews if you're applying to the US, okay? When I got a teaching job here, I only had 1 interview with the principal. The other, yeah, that's it. I only had 1 interview to teach here in Russia. In the US, you will have at least 3. Okay, what else? What else? I'm looking at the questions. So what are the risks of DIY? Nothing. What are the risks? Nothing. There's no risk. Okay? Okay, just make sure you're applying to the right visa sponsor, okay? So how do you know if the visa sponsor is really a visa sponsor, a legitimate one? Okay, you can go to Bridge USA. Bridge USA. It has the list of all visa sponsors in all programs, not just teachers, okay? Another way, if you find the list on my Facebook page, all of those are legitimate visa sponsors. If you deal only with them, not with a third party, there's no risk, okay? What else? I already answered that. Please kind of have me to teach in the US, okay? Francis, I'm already helping by giving information, okay? So that's the only way. I'm not in any way connected to recruitment, placement agencies, or any business sponsors. No. I'm an independent content creator, sharing information about how to teach in the US and international schools worldwide. May ask po, kahit po ako marunong mag-dive, kukuha pa rin ba ako ng driver? Siyempre. Ma'am Andrea, a driver's license is a proof that you can drive, okay? So you have to upload a driver's license. Telling them that you can drive is not enough. Because anybody can claim that they can drive. And you have to have your driver's license so that when you're in the US, okay, everybody listen up. Why do you need a driver's license? In the US, again, if you're applying in other countries, driver's license not required. It's only for the United States. Okay. If you don't have a driver's license, the visa sponsor will be limited to looking for a school to match you with that have public transportation. That's an extra job for them. Okay? And so if you don't have a driver's license, they'll probably put you in the back of the line, in the queuing. Okay, let's take care of Andrea some other time. Let's just work on these teachers who already have driver's license. Because public transportation in the United States is not common. And if there are cities that have public transportation, they will end up being more expensive, honestly, right? I taught in Orlando, Florida. That's a city that has public transportation. Uber, Lyft, bus, there's train. But it's actually more expensive. Okay? And how are you gonna go to work? So if you have your driver's license, you can use it while you don't have the US driver's license. You can use your Philippine driver's license or whatever country you're coming from as your driver's license for a certain period of time while you don't have your state driver's license, okay? So you have to have a driver's license. You cannot just say, I know how to drive, okay? You have to upload it. Joey, I already mentioned you should start your application now. Ma'am, when is the ideal month to apply for school year 2020? You should start now. Okay? What do I mean? You should start gathering your documents. So for you guys, go to my page, look for the list of my J1 visa sponsors. I'm sorry. Of J1 visa sponsors. I have the list there. Click the link. And that's the start of everything. Once you're in the website, you will know what to do next. Okay? Some visa sponsors are already interviewing teachers. That's why in my coaching, I started with our practices already. Okay? Some of them are now for qualifying interview. Okay, Francis, I'm sorry. I'm not going to email anybody. I don't really have time to email anybody. So the only way that I'm helping teachers is by doing Facebook Live like this, is by recording videos, creating videos, contents, giving links. I don't have time to email teachers. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. Okay? So other questions? I think I already answered the questions. Okay, what other questions do you have for me, guys? Oh, please, how do we get the license of the district for... Okay, how to get a teaching license, the requirement is different per state. So, you can Google it, okay? Google it, how you can get it. So that's the thing with H1B. That's why I'm saying, guys, if you have a problem with timeline, if you have a problem with finances, I suggest that you start with J1. Okay? Work in the US for 5 years. If you bring your family with you, your spouse with you, then your spouse can also work on J2 visa. If you go to the US on H1B visa, your spouse cannot work. He's not allowed to work. So, go to the US first for 5 years. Save. And then go back to your home country. 2 years is really fast. I'm telling you, it's fast. So, save money so that when you go back to the US next time, because after completing your 5 years program in the US on J1 visa, right? So, you have to go to your home country for 2 years. After 2 years, you can go back to the US either on J1 again or H1B. So, but if your end goal is to become a green card holder, a citizen, then definitely you want to do the H1B. But for now, if you don't have funds for it, if you don't have enough time for it, then go on J1 first and then save money and then go back to the US on H1B visa, right? That's what I would suggest for you to do. Marcella, you are on my FB page already, if you're watching this. Okay? My Facebook page and YouTube channel have the same name. It's Teaching and More. Teachers, if you're watching but you're not subscribed to my channel and you're not following my page, please follow my page and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay? That's how you can, support my page and also my channel so I can continue doing this. Joey Chavit. Yeah, I already made a video on my YouTube channel. I already created videos about classroom management and some strategies. Okay, I even have a video about school fights. What are you going to do? I have a video about getting pregnant in the US. What happens if you give birth to a child in the US. I already have a video about how to overcome homesickness. Basically, practically every topic that you would need to know about, I already made a video on that on my YouTube channel. I even have a video about, interviews, so many interviews video. I even recorded an actual interview so you can listen to it. How do I do my interview? Right? So honestly, since after graduation, for all of the teaching jobs that I've had, I never failed any interviews. Okay? So for the international school, US and here, I never failed any interview. That's why I am sharing my tips, what you can do, probably based on my experience. I have those videos on my YouTube channel. Mar Flores, what do you mean? Okay, Mamsha, those who don't have nice credentials like you, may chance din po ba na maher? Okay. I don't know what you mean by nice credentials, okay? But what is a good credential? What is a good credential? A good credential is one that qualifies you, meaning, do you have 2 years, at least 2 years of relevant teaching experience? Next, do you have the right bachelor's degree? That's what's gonna make your credential good, if it's appropriate to the job you're applying for, right? Even if you have PhD, okay, and 20 years of teaching experience or more than that, but if it's not what they're looking for, then that's a poor credential, right? So it's relative, okay? So just so you know, when I applied to teach in the United States, the only one that they counted was my bachelor's degree. That's it. I have master's degree, like I completed a master's degree, but it's not related to physics. I have physics, master's units, 34. They did not count it. So basically, I was hired based on my bachelor's degree only. But during that time, I have had already like 16 years of teaching experience. So what will make your credential looking good? If it fits, okay? If it fits. If you're targeting to teach in the United States, then the in-demand subject areas would be elementary, if you're a generalist, okay? Elementary, generalist, let me stress that. STEM teachers, science, math, right? SPED, number 1, top on the list, SPED. English teachers, foreign language teachers, especially if it's Spanish, okay? So those are the in-demand subject in the United States. But if you're planning to teach in international schools, any subject areas, okay? But you also still have to have at least 2 years of teaching experience, right? So SPED, though, is not in demand. It's not, I don't see, international schools looking for SPED teachers. Andrea, you cannot get an SSN. Social Security number will only be given to those who are working in the United States, and you don't have that. I already said I have a video about that, problems encountered in applying directly to the school district, right? And how to solve them. So, Ma'am Andrea, you can do that. I suggest you watch that video first. It's on my YouTube channel. It's on my wall right now. This week I shared it. Okay, Ma'am Andrea, could you please? You can watch that video. It's on my Facebook page. This week I reshared it because when I did a Facebook Live early this week, that's the same question that came up. Okay, Francis, questions for interviews. I already made videos about interviews on my YouTube channel. I did more than 3 videos, so you can watch that, okay? So I did commonly asked questions and how to answer them. I have that video already on my YouTube channel. Marcella, is it wise to apply for early retirement here if I will pursue J1 visa? I'm not familiar with the early retirement thing here in in DepEd because I never worked with DepEd. So you may want to talk to some teachers about it. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that. Okay, cover letter. I already posted that too on my Facebook page. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry I cannot answer you individually, privately, like sending you personally, like just for you exclusively, some of these things. Okay, so it's gonna take patience from you. It's gonna take diligence from you to search my page. I already posted those on my page. I'm sorry, I will not have time to go to each of you and send you these things. But that thing I do for those who are attending my coaching, obviously, right? So if you're in my coaching, I'm going to give this information to you personally, right? Email. Or you can access it from the Google Classroom that I created for just for my coaching. Those teachers who are in my coaching are the only ones that I will be dealing with personally, right? Because there's so many of you, obviously. Okay, what is your YouTube channel? My YouTube channel is also called Teaching and More. Okay, that's also the name. You can just search it, Teaching and More. And also, I have the link on my Facebook page to my YouTube channel. Okay, Joey, ma'am, did they credit master's degree? Although it is not, okay, they will not credit it. So like I said, I have master's degree, but it's not in physics. They did not credit it. Okay, I have a master's in education major in physics, but I did not complete it. I only earned 34 units. That's not credited. Okay. Okay, again, my coaching, you can enjoy my coaching only after buying my book. I have two designs. The only one I have here is the feminine one. I have another design that is gender neutral. Okay, you have to buy my book, and this is 3,000 pesos, but it already goes with the 1-year coaching. Okay, if you buy the book, you get the book by LBC free shipping. Plus, you'll be joining my coaching. All right, guys, what time is it? Okay, it's late. So it's now 4:28 p.m. here in Kazan. And also that's 9, right? Almost 10 p.m. in the Philippines. So I'm going to say bye now. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you, Ma'am Josu, on my page, I have a link to how to order the book. It's at the top, featured post. All right, guys. Again, I have all the videos you need on my YouTube channel, Teaching and More. I have all the links you need on my Facebook page, also Teaching and More. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And if you watch any of my video, please hit the like button. It's free. You don't have to pay, and your name will not show up. So if you don't want people to know that you have been watching and liking my video, they will not know. Okay? So thank you. Bye, guys. Bye for now. It's late, and thank you for joining me again. I hope you have, you enjoy the rest of the weekend. Okay?